Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, I'm going to talk about the most important factors that create success: muscle building, power building, strength building, success. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. All right, those of you guys that have bought my book, Massive Iron, those of you guys that have been following my channel for a very long time, you know I talk about pillars of success. I talk about a group of basics that will make up about 90% of all you'll ever need to know if you want to build a maximal amount of muscle and strength. And here they are. I'm put them in a little chart and I'm going to explain what this means. You have volume, nutrition, progressive overload, exercise selection, mindset and drive, and consistency. I talk about these a lot. I beat this drum. So basically, what I did here was build a foundation. The foundation, if you were looking to build a maximal amount of muscle mass, the pillars at the foundation, if you take them out, nothing else is going to matter. So I'm going to dive into this. I hate to oversimplify things. I put some thought into this, and I'd like to know what you guys have to think, so drop a comment down below. So this is for the individual that wants to maximize muscle mass, that wants to maximize strength. You have all my pillars. Which ones are most important, how to sort through them, how to analyze them to make sure you get the most out of your success. Well, number one, at the base is going to be consistency. Now, this seems obvious. Telling everybody they need to be consistent in the gym seems like an obvious statement, something that doesn't need to be touched on, but nothing could be further from the truth. In the 12 plus years that I've been on lifting forums on the internet, from Muscle and Brawn, my own forum, to I'll Pump You Up, to Muscle and Strength, to Tiger Fitness, and then Facebook groups, I see a lot of people that come and go into the gym that do not remain consistent over the course of 365 days. Now, I'm not telling you need to train 365 days a year. Obviously, I'm not a fool. But what I am saying is that a lot of people will give it for 3 or 4 months, and then they'll disappear, and they'll miss a couple months at the gym, and then they'll come back. Consistency is key, and lack of consistency is a huge stumbling block. If you look at somebody comes to me and says they've been training 8 to 15 years and they want help because they're not making the progress they want. The first question I'm going to ask them is, how is your consistency? A very, very small amount of these lifters have been lifting consistently for a long period of time. If you want to know what contributes to my success, I took a couple years off at one point after the birth of my second child, and when I got back in it, I've been lifting consistently for the last 14 to 15 years. The longest I took off was a month period of time where I was very sick with the flu. That was it. That was it in 14 to 15 years. So you want to be successful, you got to dig in and you got to keep grinding and not making excuses and not taking month and month periods of time away from the gym. You have to be consistent for a long period of time. Without that, none of this will matter. All right, so we have a lot of good stuff up here: exercise selection, progression, etc. The next base is fuck your program, mindset, and drive. You need to understand that those that really want it make it happen. They make it happen. They set their excuses aside and they go get it. Mindset and drive cannot be replaced. If you do not have the mindset, you do not have the drive, you do not have the consistency, nothing above that level matters. It doesn't. If you have no drive, no heart, and you get to, like, say 225 on squats and it starts to feel heavy, all the programming in the world isn't going to matter. All the volume, smart volume in the world isn't going to matter, because you have a heart issue. You have a drive issue. The people that struggle the most, that kind of get to those average strength levels and things start to feel heavy and they deload and they reload and they reset and they're perpetually spinning their wheels, is because they're trying to make excuses because they don't really want it enough to go after it. their head and their drive just isn't in the right place. You look in any commercial gym, it's full of mediocre lifters. I give them credit for lifting. That's a good thing. I give them credit for physical activity. That is a good thing. But they never take it to the level they want it. They want, almost everyone in that gym wants more muscle. They want more strength. What's holding them back is consistency and head and the heart, their drive. All right, with those two things in place, you are good to go. But you can't fake drive. You can't just pretend like you have it. Either it's there or it's not. And it's something you have to work at. In those moments when you are just filled with excuses and you don't want to train and something's feeling too heavy, you're feeling frustrated with form, you have the choice to quit or you have the choice to push forward. And the choice to aggressively push forward is extremely, extremely important. Okay, now with these two in place, the next thing I'm going to focus on is exercise selection. You can have a good amount of volume. You can have a good amount, a decent nutrition program. You can even have a progression program. But if your exercise selection sucks, you're probably not going to get strong and you're not going to get big. If you're avoiding the big hitting exercises, the big hitting compound movements, if you're shying away from those or you're avoiding them, you're only doing a few of them, you're going to have a hard time progressing. Big compound movements have the most potential to build muscle and strength. Because they have a wide opportunity for progression. You can start in the gym with a 95-pound squat, and you could literally go up to 500 pounds, right? You could start in the gym with a 135-pound deadlift and literally get up to 500, 550 pounds. Big compound movements have an opportunity for a lot of progression, and that is a lot of value. Even things like dumbbell bench press and dumbbell overhead press, etc. If you're going to go in and do all these lighter isolation exercises, which can have value after you do the big hitters, right? It can have value after you do the big hitters, but they don't have a lot of room for progression. You might start with 15-pound side lateral raises today, and then in 20 years, you might be doing 35-pound side lateral raises. They don't have a lot of opportunity for progression. So if your exercise selection is not squared away, none of these levels above this will matter. All right. So you're consistent. You got the proper mindset. Fuck your program. Program doesn't matter as much as my drive, my head and my heart. You got those in place. You're ready to attack. You got a good exercise selection. Now progression matters. Now everything is in place and you are going to attack the progression. You have a progression approach. You have a plan when you enter the gym. You are ready to go. Next, nutrition. Okay. If you don't have a nutrition plan in place, if you do not have a solid progression plan in place, and a good exercise selection, nutrition's not going to make or break you. Does that make sense? If you're not consistent, if you don't have a good exercise selection, if you don't have a progressive overload approach, nutrition is just eating food because you're not really working in the gym hard enough for it to matter. Some people might get upset that I have nutrition this low, but in this context, at basically a lower level, because the lowest level is the widest, the most important, obviously. Some people might get upset that nutrition is up there, but if you do not have these other things in place, nutrition is basically just eating food. So what is nutrition? What matters with nutrition? Consistency, a reasonable consistency with calorie intake, with protein intake. You're not eating 3,000 calories one day and 1,800 the next, 90 grams of protein 120 the next, 160 the next. You have some reasonable nutrition plan that remains consistent and it is aligned with your goals. All right, with nutrition in place, volume is probably the last. Volume, there's a wide spectrum. There's physiologically, We're different types of people. We can handle a little bit different. Some of us can handle a little bit more. Some of us can handle a little bit less. Some of us are younger and can take more punishment. Some of us are more fresh in the gym and we're not super strong yet, so we can generally handle a little bit more volume. So volume is probably the last on the priority list, right? Because most of us, when we go into the gym, most of us have some form of a reasonable volume. Most of us. The extremes are what we want to avoid. The really low set programs, the extremely high set programs, generally somewhere in the middle. We need to keep our volume sane. We need to keep our volume filled with a good exercise selection. We need to have a focus or progressive overload plan using that volume. So our volume needs to have a point and a purpose. So guys, that's it. These are my pillars of success. Let me know what you think. My priorities are consistency, then fuck your program. You have to have the mindset and drive, and above that, exercise selection, progression, consistent nutrition, and after that, a reasonable amount of volume. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.